Alright, so I'm back here streaming, or I guess just casting once again, because I was on a break for a little bit, did not have access to mass setup, and therefore did not do any games, and now I'm back. CiC Cycle 2. We got week 2 action, I believe, here. Week 3, maybe? I don't even remember. Yeah, no, sorry, this is week 3. We got SynC taking on Ogre, as obviously this game was remade, so not too much analysis able to be done in the drafting phase. Legion side looking at Bubbles, Madman, Magmus, Engineer, and Ophelia, so pretty standard lineup for them. Probably pretty obvious what's going to happen. Madman in the suicide, Bubbles in the solo short, Ophelia, could be Bubbles in the mid, but probably in Bubbles in the solo short, Ophelia in the jungle, and Magmus, Engineer dual laning either in the middle lane or in the bottom lane. My inclination to Bubbles short is obviously that it's Flensmeister, so I would suspect that he is going to be playing more of the carry role. Although, to be completely honest with you, I don't really consider Bubbles a carry-type hero. He can play the initiator role, but I'm not really sure if he scales well enough into the late game to be able to be considered a carry. You'll notice apparently there are some bugs here, so with the health bars, hopefully that's not that big a deal. But I guess we're just gonna have to live with it for now. And in the meantime, look at the Hellborn side. Over here we've got Riftwalker, Pharaoh, Dr. Repulsor, Empath, and Drunken Master. Team Ogre here, obviously pretty much the underdogs. No doubt not quite as up to professional Han and not quite as experienced as SynC eSports is, and therefore not really favored in this matchup, but we'll see what they can do. They didn't do too well in the CiC League, and we'll see what Han Tour Diamond Cycle 10 shows for them. Now, to be fair to them, and now Farragon trapped here off to the side. Nice one walls there, and he will be able to get out. To be fair to them, they are one of the better lower division teams. We are going to have action here, and Bubbles actually going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Will get bloodlusted, so Flensmeister going down there. The Empath wall, not bad. Not the greatest in the world, but not bad. My wall is actually going to trap Engineer over here as well. We'll see if they can get a double tap. And turret goes down, very, very well placed, slowing everybody, and it looks like Insania here on this Engineer will be able to get out. Obviously, Insania, new addition there, and showing that he is quite capable of playing that support role. And it looks like he is going to be the hard support with this team, based on what we've seen so far. I'm not really a huge fan of their decision to replace support. I think support was a good player, and I don't think they really needed to, but hey, I guess sometimes you just need to make a change, and Team SynC felt like the time was right, felt like Insania made more sense for them, and I guess that's what they ended up doing. So mid lane here will be Pharaoh versus Magmus and Engineer, and I do expect Pharaoh not to die here, although he certainly could. I think it would require a misplay though, or some really good plays inside of SynC, which they are certainly capable of. But no matter what, he is not going to have a good time in this lane, obviously being dual laned. Not to his advantage, and Insania Engineer should be able to harass him fairly effectively. Once again, not very easy to kill, but definitely not going to have any sort of free farm here in this lane. Bottom, meanwhile, going to have Flensmeister going up against Drunken Master and Empath, so the opposite situation here. Obviously, very difficult to kill Bubbles, so they put the wall down here, but he will be able to shell surf right on through it, and good wall there, traps Bubbles off to the side, and that's really what we saw support doing a lot. Meanwhile, in the middle lane here, we got Pharaoh getting caught out. My walls are already down. He's going to be in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of auto attack damage, trying to get off to the side here. Zlapt is available with that Ophelia, and Pharaoh is in a lot of trouble. It's going to require pretty impressive jukes here to get out of this, but he might have actually pulled it off. They did not figure out where he went, and they're going to see him now, but it's going to be too late. Maybe. Where's he going? He's going on an adventure. Insania is still trying to cut him off, but Annie, and aka Mickey on this Magmus, has realized this is just too much time that I'm not farming, so I'm just going to go back to this, and is he get spotted? Yes, he is. Turret goes down, Pharaoh's still in a lot of trouble down here, puts him in walls down, will chop off Engineer, but obviously Ophelia right there, and that's going to be another kill.
That felt good,
Path in there, actually surviving way too long, I think, considering how much trouble he was in, but ends up taking the death, and Insania getting the last hit. Up top here, Suicide Scout, or sorry, Madman. That's, I see Invis, I see Scout, I'm like, nope, it's Madman. I like that. Madman, I think, a very good hero, and perhaps one we don't see too much of. And it looks like the rotation here, we might see NG trying to lock down his Dr. Repulsor, obviously a hero you want to address early on, and There we go with the slow from the Catman, and it looks like Count Crafter's going to try to get out of here. Won't be able to do so. The nuke from Ophelia finishes him off. Tried to juke into the woods there, not quite effective. Obviously, Dr. Repulsor in the early game, very, very easy to take down, and that's really when you want to address him, because he's been an extremely viable hero in competitive gaming recently. And obviously pause going down, but we got auto skip pause because this is a replay. So we don't care. Let's go skip straight through it. And looks like Cluckmuck here is going to try to clean up some farm here while Dr. Repulsor is out. Middle lane Engineer and Pharaoh going at it once again, as looks like Annie had to back off probably to get that bottle. I don't see any items on this entire SynC team. I don't see any items on anybody. This has got to be a bug. This is definitely a bug. So I might have to recompatize after this game, because I was like, are they just like totally disrespecting Ogre and saying like we're gonna play this entire game without items? Or sorry, bottom lane. Meanwhile, Bubbles getting jumped on once again. Does have Shell Surf. There it is. Goes past the wall, and obviously Empath waiting for that wall, trying to get it so that she can force out the Shell Surf first, but not quite able to do so. And Flensmeister doing the math, having just enough health to wait it out and eventually use the Shell Surf to get past the wall and live. So he's not having the greatest time down here at 212 gold per minute compared to Demstrats at 280 GPM. No surprise really, considering this is a 2v1 lane and Bubbles is, you know, not the easiest to box out, but he is a highly defensive hero. He's much more interested in escaping and running away than trading auto attacks, especially with Empath, who has a relatively high base damage. You're looking at how she's hitting it for 48 to 65, and now Bubbles going to jump down once again. Drops a Shell Surf, gets stunned by the Essence Link Bow, and the wall is there, but not enough. Demstrat's choosing to back off, and Flensmeister will be okay. Meanwhile, they're going to try to turn this around here. Empath in a lot of trouble. Drops this Catman slow, and that's going to be one kill. Drunkenmaster looks like he will be okay, and that should end the engagement right there. So his lapse rotation actually has been pretty fantastic. He's been, as he sends Bubbles back there, he's been in this middle lane, he's been in the top lane, now he's coming to the bottom lane. He's been rotating all sorts of places. Oh, Bubbles, you little cheat. If you don't know notice what he did there. So, basically, send back with a fail. Meanwhile, middle lane, actually, Pharaoh's getting jumped on, drops the volume walls, but still going to take the takes down here. One more attack from the Magmus, and that'll do it. Tries to drop the Hellflower, but not in time. And bottom lane once again, they're trying to pick up his Bubbles, gets the Shell Surf down. Drunkenmaster's pretty low, though. He's going to have to be careful about this. Look at the CS, and Flensmeister continuing to receive heavy pressure here, but not dying, and in fact a turn kill on Empath earlier, showing that he's doing just fine here in this sort of suicide bottom lane. I was saying before, though, with the Ophelia sendback, obviously if you drop the Shell Surf and the Ophelia ports you back, and then you port it to the Shell Surf immediately, it basically fills up your bottle for free. Top lane Riftwalker trying to box out this Madman a little bit as he's looking to interrupt the pull. Not too much though. Count Crapula meanwhile in this top lane, 270 gold per minute, so doing okay, really, considering how well this lane should be going. That's not particularly impressive. Obviously he took the death earlier, so 28 CS, you know, tied for the highest in the game. I guess he'll take that. Meanwhile, middle lane, Pathfind drops once again on that fire. Let's go back. Takes the Minotaur Stomp and the ultimate from Magnus, and that's an easy kill.
Massacre!
So, Pharaoh here not having the greatest of times, as really he is dying more than I thought he would. That really juke was really nice and very well played, but I think since then he's perhaps gotten counted a little bit too much. Currently sitting on 0-3 and 0. 3 of the 5 hero kills here for the Legion side have been him. Shell Surf gets used there. Wall actually misses. Trying to push him back into it. Drops to take cover. One more auto attack will finish him off. Drunkenmaster's going to die for it though, so not the worst, and now Magma's going to come with cleanup, so excellent play there from Mickey with the last hit on the Empath, but Flensmeister managing to get the return kill despite taking the death. Ophelia here trying to juke out of the woods, and Riftwalker is chasing Engineer, who has absolutely no health, but Insania looks like he will get away. Cascade event not going to connect. And Magma Solutions here doing some damage to Pharaoh, or to the creeps even. Obviously a port back in once, that is Magnus. Yep. Top lane, meanwhile, Madman, Keizu here sitting at 260 gold per minute, so actually not doing bad at all. 27 and 2 CS. Did not pick up the kill. We got an assist off that earlier kill on the Dr. Repulsor, of course. And I'm a little concerned about how little they've been trying to do to address him. I don't know. I don't actually know if Riftwalker's bought dust because I can't see the items, obviously, which is a bit of an issue. Meanwhile, Bubble's in the bottom lane, going to get pressured a little bit, but will be just fine. But it seems like Keizu's having a little bit too good a time here in this suicide lane, considering it's a 2v1. 250 gold per minute is not exactly a victory if you're the support. And you know, you just can't let Keizu have that sort of farm. He's also sitting at level 7 here, which is the same level as Dr. Repulsor. Bottom lane, meanwhile, once again, Flensmeister getting jumped there. The staggers, lunchtime will go in. Wall missing once again. Empath having some issues dropping these walls. And Bubbles looks like he will be okay. And actually might even be more than that. Drunken Master going to be in some trouble. Drops a stun from Magnus and the keg stun. Essence Link goes down, but Drunken Master is in a lot of trouble actually. Might have messed this up. A couple more auto attacks. He's going to be able to lunge away. No, kill field actually does not matter. As Engineer gets the last hit. Looks like bottom lane will be pressured now. They've got a couple of Ophelia creeps and a Ballista, so this looks like it's going to be an early tower kill. Send back from Bubbles once again, and they're going to time this. Here's the Shell Surf. Fills it up and ports back. So. Bottom tower here. Going to get killed pretty easily. And about 9 minutes in, we have an 8-2 hero kill lead, 5k gold, 2.5k experience here for SynC eSports. Not a huge surprise they'd be able to take an early lead. Not only are they, you know, like I said, a better team, but if you look at their heroes, they're just generally more early to mid-game oriented. Bubbles and Magnus and Ophelia even off to the side here. Fair going to get caught once again, drops the Hellfire, hasn't used the Wall of Mummies quite yet. Kegstun goes down and also connects. We'll see if he can actually get out of this. Hellfire doing a lot to stun. Shell Surf there does not hit, but the stun helps finish him off. A lot of solo attack going to Mickey there, and they're really diving deep here. Engineer going to be in some trouble. Cascade Event gets taken as long with the Drunken Master stun. Engie trying to live here. Kegstun gets dropped to not hit anybody except for himself, though. Ultimate from Magnus gets challenged. Easily kill on Rhapsody, or Riftwalker, as well as Pharaoh, who bought back, actually. I was wondering, I was like, he's back? So Path in there buying back. Drunken Master getting chased once again. Shelster from Bubbles helping to finish him off. Keizu picking up the last here there. And it turns out that ends up being a 4 for nothing. They're diving past tier 2 towers here, and they're still not getting punished for it. And that's really not in a good, not in a good position here for Ogre. Once again, Shell Surf trick. No, actually, it's going to go all the way back to base. Perhaps you need to purchase some items or something. I don't know. And we'll instead TP top. So Flensmeister here at 315 gold per minute. Didn't have the worst time in the bottom lane, especially considering it was a 2v1. Obviously, some rotation from Magnus, some rotation from Ophelia, even Engineer helping out quite a bit in that regard. Keizu going to pick up some short lane farm with the bottom tier 1 tower cleared out. It's a little bit safer here for the Hellborn side as they are able to play a little bit further back, more on their side of the river. Of course, losing towers is never a good thing, but that's sort of the silver lining. Ancients here haven't been stacked at all. I'm a little bit opposed to that. I'm not sure why. With a dual support lineup, you wouldn't be stacking Ancients more often than they have. And maybe they have tripled them already and taken them, but I don't think that's the case. And on the Legion side, they haven't tripled Ancients either, but they're not as farm-oriented. You know, they don't have the Doctor, so not that big a deal for them. They're much more interested in farming kills than Ancient stacks. So I'd like to see a little bit more involvement here on the Ancients for the Hellborn side. Meanwhile, off the side here, actually, Riftwalker going to get dropped onto Keizu. She's going to be in a lot of trouble, and that should be a kill, as Clockmonk picks up the last hit on that Riftwalker. Well coordinated there. Too bad it took really a lot of involvement just to kill the opposing team. Suicide, who is now at 290 gold per minute. Not the greatest there, but obviously if you're Ogre, you know, you do that as much as you can. You force situations where you are absolutely at the advantage. Just because you can't afford to take too many risks at this point. You're already down pretty substantially. So you're like, look, we're going to commit a lot of resources to this, perhaps more than one might like, but we need to guarantee kills and we need to not die. So at this point, their game plan needs to be, let's group up, let's find some pickoffs. Even if we have to use a couple of ultimates, that's okay. And really, most of their ultimates are not on substantial cooldowns anyway. So I do like to see that sort of play coming out from the Hellborn side. Meanwhile, Drunken Master getting caught here, takes the keg stun, in a lot of trouble, will just immediately get wrecked, slapped in the last hit there with the auto attack, or the nuke, sorry. But the lockdown there, obviously, much, much too strong between the Ophelia minions and the Engineer Keg. And of course, the burst damage from the Legion side is pretty substantial. Off the side here, Magnus will catch Riftwalker. Gonna be a lot of trouble. She will be the first to fall. Cluckmuck dying early. And looks like Pharaoh will be okay. And the Legion side will group up once again, look to push a tier 2 tower this time. They still haven't taken the tier 1 top, but obviously the mid towers are pretty much the most valuable in the game when it comes to the positioning advantage they grant you. Not being able to teleport to them can create a serious problem, and obviously this really, really opens up the Hellborn jungle to Legion aggression. Vulture Lord there channeling a tornado will get caught out by Drunken, and they're going to try to kill it. Shouldn't be that big a deal. So it looks like the Hellborn are actually going to defend this tower, and as well they should. I think the Legion probably have enough to take this fight. I assume that Magnus has his portal key at this point. I think I saw him use it already anyway. And off to the side here, Dr. Repulsor looks like he's not going to get caught, maybe? I don't know. These health bars are getting pretty ridiculous. On some of them are okay, like on Madman he's fine. And then on others, like that Dr. Repulsor, that's pretty insane. Anyway. So Legion continuing to try to keep this up. They're trying to get this middle tower. And I don't think Hellborn really want to fight here, but they realize they sort of have to. There's the ultimate coming out from Riftwalker, gonna hit onto 2. Engineer and Magnus both getting caught. Neuros busting goes down, but Pharaoh's ult misses, actually, and that's gonna be a couple of deaths on the Hellborn side. They do pick off Engineer, but there's the ultimate from Magnus, and that's just cleaning everything up. Inside the Pharaoh walls, that should probably hurt his own team. Cluckmuck, the only one to survive so far. That's not gonna last as she drops the Bubbles auto attack, so ends up being 5 for 1, only losing their hard support Engineer, and this is gonna be a quick game.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
19-4 hero kill lead for the Legion side. Obviously those ultimates, Bubbles, Magnus, and Ophelia on the defensive side just becoming a little bit too powerful. Hellborn don't really want to fight, like I said, and they kind of have to because their options are, you know, fight and lose fights and lose towers, or just lose towers. And at least with the fighting, you give yourself some sort of chance. Obviously all those ults on cooldown now, so not really looking to go in. Legion ults are on cooldown. Once again, Empath Wall missing here. Magnus going to get cut out there. That will be 1 death. We'll see if they can grab Flensmeister or Keizu on the back end as well. And Dr. Repulsor jumping in, trying to get Flens here, but he's going to get ported back. So he should be just fine. And Keizu, actually, Mummy Walls there not helping out very much. Pathin won that Pharaoh. Bit of an issue. Keizu can get caught by Demstrax's Lunds here. And Lunds. Hellfire going down, all of a sudden this thing is turning around. Pharaoh may be in a lot of trouble. He will drop. Looks like Empath might be next on the list. Drops the Essence Link, trying to get some health back, but it's not going to be enough. CiC Folk goes down, and
defeat.
Yep, there it is.
Legion wins. The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn
mostly in this
tower.
situation, a case of mismatch, I think, just SynC being the better team. But there's no doubt they outplayed their opponents too. I mean, they had a very, very early game-oriented lineup, and if this game had gone to 30 minutes or 45 minutes or something like that, they would have been in a lot of trouble. So I don't really have too much of an issue with how Ogre played this, or really even how they drafted. They drafted a solid lineup. They've got initiation potential. Not quite as much stun, or not quite as much push, excuse me, as I would like. But the team fight's all right, you know, with Empath and Doctor being both not really teamfight oriented ults, but annoying in teamfight ults. Cluckmuck having a teamfight ult, Pathin having a pretty solid initiation ultimate. Same thing with them strats. I don't really have an issue with their drafting decisions. I don't have an issue with their laning decisions really either. It just seems like they got outplayed. So that'll be it for this game, and we will move on to game 2.